yeah, I would say the door's open, but it wasn't as glorious as like,
Right.
is like to make it sound like it was definitely a hot mess for the first year. I was like damn near homeless for like a day. Like all my money was spent. I was like, I'm just in my car on the phone with my mom. Like, Mom, like my last 400 went to therapy. Like, what am I gonna do? Like, my next paycheck doesn't come in until a couple of days. Like, it was just like a lot going.
And just for everybody on social media, she'd played with Nick Jonas already.
Yeah, and I had already
You
played
know what I
with
mean?
Nick Jonas.
All right. Welcome, everybody, to Life in the DIY, where we empower, encourage fellow creatives to start a business with their talent or their gift. And we're talking to really inspiring people and just creatives that have lived their lives following their gift and where it's taken them and their story. So I'm really excited about who we have with us today. She's my friend. I've known her for a long time, and I've always admired her strength, her talent, and who she is as a person. So I'm very pumped that I get to chat with her on this. I'll tell you a little more about her. Okay. So Zuri Appleby is a professional bassist, vocalist, model, and educator. You've seen her most recently on tour with world-renowned superstar Lizzo, performing on some of the world's most prestigious stages, high-profile award shows, and television events. Getting her musical start, however, at the young age of 5, singing in the church choir, Zuri has had quite the journey to the big stage. The child of 2 seasoned musicians and educators, she was born and raised in the blue-collar, funk-infused city of Buffalo, New York. By the age of 16, Zuri was playing weekly gigs as a bassist with numerous well-known musicians at copious venues. She then enthusiastically accepted her role of service in the Marine Corps as the first and only female bassist of color to ever play in the U.S. MC band. A true life in the DIY, she has shared her time between performing with Grammy Award-winning artists, high-profile musical acts, studio sessions, educating the musical youth, and walking the runway and modeling for brands, stores, and photographers around the country like Banana Republic, New Era, Daft Minerva, and more. Now basing out of Los Angeles since 2018, she now has her own original group of women musicians called Lady, representing Black women and sisterhood. She's creating her own life in the DIY on her own terms. And I'm so happy to have you here, Daisy. Thank you so much for doing this with me.
What's up, Christina? Thank you for that beautiful intro. I'm so happy to be joining you. And yes, thank you so much for letting me join you today.
Yeah. So like I was saying, we were chatting before. We're just going to talk. We've known
Right.
each other for a long time. We come from the same funk-infused blue-collar town of Buffalo, New York. Go Bills.
That's
So
right.
we come from very similar places, and we both have turned our gift into our business, and we lived that life. So I'm really excited to share your story with the people that I've gotten to know that are following life in the DIY. So that bio is pretty nuts, but you actually did all of that stuff.
It's weird to hear out loud. Yeah.
Yeah.
Stuff
It's
has
gotta be.
been happening over the past few years. It's a lot.
So where are you right now?
I'm here in Los Angeles currently.
And are you in your home studio?
I am. This is our home studio with another Buffalo homie, Dave Schultz. So we share this space.
Shout out to Dave Schultz. Very nice. Another life in the DIY. Truly, a little short story about Dave Schultz, since we're going to start with him. So anyone that isn't from Buffalo, because it's going to be a lot of people who have no idea who we're talking about, but Dave, to me, not much older than me, but really was the first person I ever saw really, really hustle. Like really hustle as a creative musician. Like dude put on his own shows, came in from LA back to Buffalo, C.O. Jones. I think I sang backup for him once. Like it's just, he knows how to make money with his talent. And he was someone I always watched and admired, even if it was from afar. I always admired Dave's hustle. And that was something that I had to learn how to do. I know you've had to learn how to do. And you hear in the bio that you went into the Marine Corps, which is crazy to me still because I walk a couple miles a day and I give myself a real big pat on the back. But you definitely
It all counts.
you weren't a stranger to discipline, I guess, from that. Has that helped you in your life being a creative? Did you like rebel against that when you got out of that, or did that help you?
I would say it helped me, but it also was something that was pretty established like prior. My dad served in the Marine Corps as well. And I think that maintained in a lot of how he carried out the rest of his life. And he kind of like shares a lot of that discipline in us early on. So I kind of just had a understanding of discipline and like just the need to like give it what you have to get stuff done. I had that understanding and like, wanting to do the stuff that you might not expect to see whatever the person looks like doing. So like that type of stuff. So, but the military definitely helped me to maintain a level of just knowing what I'm capable of and just reminding myself like you've done that, like you can push yourself again. So it has helped.
Yeah, I could definitely see that because I think that was something for me, and we talk about this a lot in the class that we do at Life in the DIY is like disciplines. That was like a toxic word to me growing up. Like I was not a disciplined kid. High school was painful for me. I used to wake up around 11 a.m. I mean, we all know we were in school by 7, but I'd like come to around 11 a.m. It
Wow.
was very hard for me. So that was not my strong suit. So having discipline, and like you made a great point, when you see what you're capable of in other ways, I think that's another thing of why I talk a lot about like having a fitness routine of some sort, like really pushing yourself out of your comfort zone so you can see like, well, I could do that. And if I can do that, I can do this. And like, so I think you went like on 50. But you really
Yeah.
have a lot to pull from for the rest of your life, like just doing basic training and everything, just being a Marine. But you were the first. I didn't know that you were the first and only woman of color in the USMCCM band. I said it wrong.
Yeah, it's
My Marine
fine.
Corps did
I
college.
didn't know, and the youngest,
Oh,
which was
really?
crazy. Yes, youngest, because I was still 17, when I went in. So it was, I didn't know, I didn't realize what I was doing as I was doing it. And then you look into the history, you're like, well, I'm like, well, what other, women bases have been? It's like, oh,
Yeah,
hey,
that's
then, because,
amazing.
military one is already more male predominant. And then the Marines is an even smaller, division of the military. And then the amount of women in that is even smaller. So it was just the way that the odds were in the branch I was in, it was already as a small percentage.
That's so interesting because I think I noticed that about. I don't want to speak for you because I don't know, but I know you and I grew up in a similar way. My father was also a musician. My mother was a musician. So I kind of grew up like performing from jump. Like I just started doing it with my parents. So I never really heard I had a disadvantage in any way of like being a girl or anything like that. It was
Mm,
just like I did music, I sang, I played instruments, like that's just what you do.
mhm.
Did you feel like that was the case with you? Like I think it was more of it, you seem to at least come across that way that you never really thought that there was anything that would hold you back. Like you just kind of did it. But I
I
may be
was
wrong. You may make
really
it look it that way.
Nah, I mean, what like to start it out, like all of those like limiting thoughts weren't there at the time because that's not what I was thinking about. Like when I chose bass, no, I was pretty young and nobody was like, I mean, I might have maybe noticed in the background of my mind that I didn't see a lot of women, but I wasn't like making that
It
conscious,
wasn't a
I guess,
thing. Right.
awareness. Like, I just saw men and women doing it. So that's the part that I registered. It wasn't like, oh, on that instrument, there's only guys. Like I just remember seeing musicians working, men and women. I didn't really like specify, break it down. Like only the girls are usually singing or only the guys are on drums. And I guess I just didn't really like cognitively like notice.
Yeah.
So I didn't feel like the bass was something that women wouldn't do per se, or like that I was like standing out until people kept on bringing it to my
Bringing it to your
attention.
attention.
People kept on being like, "Oh, you're so small. You're a young girl. Like, wow, that bass is bigger than you." Just like always saying, I'm just like, I guess. Like, I don't
Yeah.
know. Like,
I
yeah. So
noticed
I
that
was,
Sheila E, amazing musician. If you don't know who Sheila is, I'm just upset. But she is amazing. Escobedo family, all of that. I've seen her a million times live. She's incredible. But she said that
oh, cool.
she just started playing. Like she didn't know that was a thing till everybody started telling her. I think it's almost like, I always said like I didn't know I grew up with very little money till people started telling me that I did.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
I'm like, I
Exactly.
thought we had more than enough. I didn't know that
Yeah.
was like a thing. So
Yeah.
it's probably the same with that. So that's something I noticed. Like as I started to build this community, I've talked to a lot of people. Basically, I started this because I started helping friends that really like during the pandemic they wanted to do something else. They left the healthcare field. They just left maybe their lifestyle that they had. Everything's changed on everybody. So I started helping like friends and family, like just kind of hone in their concept and how they can do what they really really love and actually make it their living. And then as this kind of grew, I started taking on other clients. And that's one of the biggest things is like limiting beliefs, things that you've been
Mhm.
told that you really you have to reprogram your mind. And I think, I, I believe you are into visualization, meditation. You're very conscious and aware of that part of life because it's really what makes these paths open up, in my opinion. I have found I've
Mhm.
talked to a lot of creative people. If you're not aware of that, it's a very big struggle to find your way, in my opinion. But do you
Mm.
find that to be true? Have you found that those practices and disciplines of meditation, being aware of, the law of attraction, energy, God, all of that, has that been a very big part of your life and growth and in this?
Yeah, I would say, like as you read, I was like definitely raised in the church. And I might not have felt like the full on like people like, having the Holy Ghost, all that. I didn't like see that, but I always definitely like just felt the reverence, and felt I was like prayed a lot as a kid and stuff like that. But in terms of like what I saw for myself and the belief, I didn't realize like I was manifesting when I was doing it as a kid. And obviously, like your imagination as a child is like so free, and you can really like get into what you're imagining without putting anything else on it, like the same way they try to teach you how to do, like just put it out there and let it go. Like that was so natural I think as a child. So I wouldn't say the discipline of it was like what did it. I was doing it just kind of like playing bass. I was doing it before I realized it was a thing.
Yeah.
And then the knowing of the thing part is when the discipline can help so that you're like, oh, this is a thing that I need to
Oh,
maintain or I would like to like, honor in some way. So that's where the discipline comes in. But like before like in terms of physical activity, I just know I like to play outside a lot. I like to be
right,
the fat one or I like to challenge. I wasn't like, oh, I want to work out. Like it's as good for
right.
but I think innately your body knows. And then as your consciousness grows, then it like asks of you to meet the awareness with, your responsibility of it. Like first it's like just there. It's
Yep.
like here, but it's like, do you want to keep it? Then like, let's do this. So the I can't say enough about the imagination process. I think but I definitely feel like it can get harder, but that's where, you level up as you get older. Like that's why it kind of gets harder. You're growing up, you did it easy before, now let's put some more weight on it. So, but I strongly believe in that.
I think you made a great point about when you are a young kid. I mean, I was the same way. I just believed in everything that I was doing. Like you didn't think about it. It wasn't a conscious effort because you were coming from this true place of, I'm going to go outside and play. I'm going to draw pictures. Like that was my thing. I just wanted to sing songs and draw pictures. And that's all I did. And I never thought about it. I didn't put any goal on it. I was 7,
Right.
but I really
Right.
it's what I loved to do was sit in my room and sing songs and draw pictures and write stories and do that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. And I think as you grow older, you have to almost unadult yourself because
Yeah.
society starts to kind of squeeze you there and it squeezes that out of us. Like as human beings,
It
I really
does.
think it just does. And you have responsibilities, you got to put on, you have bills, you have lights, you got to eat.
Yep.
Like there's all these things that start coming involved. So I found that meditation and visualization, like you said, it's like a muscle. It helps me remember that. Like I think
Uh-huh.
there's I don't know what Bible verse this is because I kind of grew up the same way. I was in church all the time, but I never really was that intricate with like Bible verse and everything. But
Hmm.
it's like you have to remember. You don't have to learn it. You just have to
Mm.
remember because it's already
Yep.
in you to be that connected to the universe and just be that connected to who you are and your true purpose and all of that stuff. And like when I came up with the class, I'm like, this class is really different than people think it's going to be. It's not going to
Yeah.
be
Yeah.
necessarily about like identify your gift and I like to tap dance. Like, no,
Right.
it's going to be like everybody has a gift. What do you do, the easiest with the least amount of effort? And like you're even just
Yeah.
saying it. You just started playing bass. You didn't know that was a thing and that it was bigger than you and that people would make
Mm-mm.
comments,
Yeah.
you know?
Oh, yeah.
And then you happen to
Exactly.
be really good at it. But that
I didn't
again,
even know that. I didn't even know I was good at it.
yeah, it just something
Didn't
you
even
did. And
know.
then probably in the same way, you had to hone that in. So that comes into
Mhm.
leveling up as a creative person and going outside your comfort zone. I really believe that's what makes or breaks people as are you going to be able to do this for your life? To
Yeah.
really fully support yourself. You have to
Yeah.
push yourself into a place where you're super uncomfortable and kind of miserable sometimes.
Yeah.
For
It's
me,
crazy to try to create joy out of something that's not fun. Like
right.
really
Yeah.
it's definitely for the, mastery, a level of mastery in the human experience to be able to do that. So
Well, I know that when we met, you played with my musical project for a little while. You
yes.
were in your early 20s. I was a little older, but not much.
Not
And
much.
not much. But you were fantastic then. We knew it. We saw it. You had a great stage presence. You were fantastic to play with. You were great for rehearsals. You know what I mean? You were a pro. You were great. But you were learning a lot. I remember that. Like as you were kind of growing, you're going up to base camps, you were getting criticism, you were getting constructive criticism, and you were learning and you were taking it, and then you were leveling up, and then you get a better gig, and then you go do it. Like you would go do those gigs, and it's uncomfortable. When did you get that big, in your opinion, what was your big moment where you're like, okay, this was it Nick Jonas? Was it earlier than that? Was it us?
My big break. My no, well, I would say for sure your guys' experience was the first experience of preparing me for that level of things. Like just it wasn't just a local, respectfully to all of the amazing local gigs I've done. It wasn't just another local gig where we're just getting together for this day of the week and run the songs for an hour and whatever. Like this was the first time when it was original music. I could feel the care that you guys had for what you did. That was, even that alone brings to anybody that cares a level of care from you. And a lot of times, unfortunately, sometimes on some of the local gigs, we're just making whatever, we're making $100 to be there for 4 hours and do this. Sometimes people's care is not all the way elevated the way that you would like it to be to bring a certain degree of professionalism. And so you guys definitely were the first to like bring that level to me all around,
That's cool.
with original music and with in-ears and with tracks.
The in-ears.
Yeah, I would say Dave
Yeah.
Schultz, he had the professionalism there, but it was covers still. But he did give me that professionalism, but you guys were the first time. So that, yeah, I appreciate all the kind things you said, but I was learning a lot. And it was a style of music that, I mean, I call myself the musical chameleon, but it was still something that I don't play a lot. So there's blends of what I play, no, that definitely was like the preparation for, having to, just do what I've been doing since then. But Nick Jonas was definitely the biggest. I mean, I would say he's arguably the biggest artist aside from Lizzo that I've still have played for to date. So
it was a big one, and you were like,
yeah, he's pretty big. Came in hot.
That was a big one.
So yeah.
Do you feel
yeah,
like I guess I've always wanted to ask you this too, because you can prepare as much as you think you're ready for that thing you've been manifesting. You really feel like you're on that path, and all of a sudden you're just there. And I don't know, I don't even really know what my question is, but that's just, I've been in those moments where I'm like, oh shit, this is happening. Like, this is what I actually asked for. And there's feelings in this I didn't expect. And like, there's fear I didn't expect. And but you really delivered. I mean, all of a sudden we were just all watching you, and everybody's tweeting about it. We're all watching on SNL, and you were on everything. It was crazy. It was so cool. And that's where Buffalo is great, because everybody really was like, dude, C's on TV like all the time.
Man.
Like it was
and the support was overwhelming and so amazing. But everything happened so quick. I mean, life is already so weird to me, where I think there's always just a level of like, is this even real? So
yeah, that has
I
to
think
be.
that serves to my benefit, that I'm just like, it's just happening. And I'm like, I'm aware I'm here, but it's like doesn't usually fully register until I'm like out of the situation.
Right.
And
right.
I'm in a space where I can process it without it affecting what's going on. Because in the moment, I'm more or less focused on what I have to do. It's not a matter of like not being nervous. It's just the bandwidth is spent focusing on what I need to do. And if I let it, if you let your mind waver off, you can, so it's just better to stay focused.
Right. And I think living in the moment is a really big thing just to do in general. Like, I think my biggest thing I could possibly relate this to is when we were recording with Breaker Box, we went to record in LA, and we tracked drums at Tom.
Yeah. Yes.
Motley Crue. And I did not think he was going to be there. That was not going to be like, that wasn't why we were there. We were working with a producer that we wanted to work with. We had access to the studio, and he ended up coming down and talking to us. I'm talking about my dog. I'm like, what is happening? Like, why?
Yeah, it's hard to process.
It was just so strange. And he was really cool. Shout out to D-Bone.
Yes.
But, I think my point of bringing this up is that, so many people were always looking at the future and what we're going to do. And especially if you're taking this class and you're a part of this community, you're looking to do something here. So it's like you can very easily live in the future too much and miss those moments that I really have tried. I've learned that in my career so far, to really live in the moment. Like you said, you were so ready for that, because that's why the opportunity was presented to you. It doesn't come if you're not ready. And you were ready to be there if you knew it or not. You know what I mean? So you were just ready. You did the work. And then later on, we're like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
And for Beyonce.
And
Like,
yeah, I definitely think there's layers to like being in the present moment because sometimes I will be so focused on what I have to do
mhm.
that I might be missing what's going on in
Yeah,
terms of like outside of me. So, you know, but I
maybe
guess
it
you start
serves you.
inward and let it expand out as far as you can, as far as you can take in. But you don't start out there and then try to reel it in, like, start with the focus in here.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I know a lot of people have brought this up to me over the years, just, what it looks like on social media and what it looks like living a life as a creative person. They're like, oh, you have a job, you don't have to do all that shit. And it was a lot of downtime, a lot of roller coaster, especially the bigger the highs. I feel like
Yes.
sometimes it's the bigger the lows where you have to learn how to be comfortable in that too.
Mhm.
And to that point, you had, Nick Jonas picked you up, you got that gig, you guys were out there, you were out for how long with him?
I would say a year and a half.
Was it that long? Wow. And that was,
Yeah.
that's a year and a half of your life. You're still basing out of Buffalo, New York, and you come back. That gig ends, which again, if anybody hasn't watched it, Hired Gun, great documentary about session musicians and just musicians in general that work on sessions and work on tours. And it's a different lifestyle. It's different than being an original act. It's different in every single way. And it takes a totally different mindset and hustle from what I've seen because I don't do it. But it's really incredible. So if you haven't seen that, watch that movie. But when you came back, that gig was over because that's just how it works, from what I
Yeah.
understand. And then what was your next move? Like, what did you feel? A lot of people are taking this class, want to know the first steps to turning their gift to a business, but you were already doing it. And then it kind of came back to square one again of, okay, how do I get this next opportunity? So how did you approach that? Let
I
me ask you.
definitely, yeah, I'm like, I guess back to the being in the present moment, I don't tend to like what's my next step before I get there, but I will think like this is what I'm trying to achieve long term and then that'll kind of like take me. So
Mhm.
I knew like I just knew, I wanted to continue doing music, obviously. I wasn't actually like, how am I gonna get my next big gig? Like that wasn't my thought, but I knew I was like, well, this is what life is presenting me now. Like, I'll see how this feels. And I guess the moment told like how the moments were developing told me what I needed to do next. It wasn't something that I like knew before I got there. So it was like, okay, let's see how, like, maybe this will help me to get some really amazing. And it did help me. I mean, I won some awards. I got to be speaking for at Buff State, doing TED Talks. I got to do residencies through the public school system. And so, like, it did elevate me in a lot of amazing ways. So I was like, let me see. I mean, shoot, it could have went to me being a master class giver versus a hired gun. I didn't know what it
100%.
was going to do. Um, but as I was back in Buffalo and things were just the way it felt for me, I knew I had to like make a move. It felt like I came back and I was, doing this world tour and I was like, well, I'm going to do like just, I don't know, respectfully, I was like, I'm just going to keep on gigging around town. It just didn't seem to make sense with like the leg up that I got. I felt like I should ride that wave a little more to see how much I could expand it because I really would love to be a successful enough artist that I can bring some like substantial impact back to Buffalo.
Yeah.
Not just like have them people be hyped that somebody like did great, which is like so, but I want us to like, I don't
I
know,
know what
have
you mean.
more means for stuff. And so I wanted to try to expand on that. And
Yeah.
because LA is where like where I was rehearsing and it just seemed like it might be more affordable than New York City at the time. So I was like, let me just go to
Isn't
LA.
that crazy?
Yeah, I know. In LA, it's still, I mean, it's not by much, but it just for what you're gonna get and the type of like, driving and the weather. I just felt like let me just do it in LA.
Yeah, no doubt. And it's funny how I think certain places, scenarios, and cities really open up for you because I never would have thought I would move to Nashville. Like it
Yeah.
never was. We would go to Los Angeles more than we went anywhere. I mean, I did some stuff in New York too in the city, but when we went to LA a few times to record, of course, the NAMM show, we always went out there, but we started just Nashville opened up. I don't know why. And then we kind of had the same feeling of, and I think that's what a lot of people that are part of this community are feeling like. I just have this feeling. Yes, I
Hmm.
could just keep going the way I'm going. I have maybe some security. I have a job I like, or, it's not awful, but I've always wanted to paint furniture. I always wanted to do hair for real or whatever it is. And you have that feeling. And I know Steve Harvey has this great quote of like, if you wake up in the morning and you feel like there should be more to life, then just know that there is. Like, if that's the feeling you have, then it's the truth. There's more,
Mm-hmm.
there's something more that God wants for you. There's something more that you can do. And I get what you mean about, not, and again, like you said, like respectfully, not just like coming back and going, hey, I did something and I was from Buffalo. Because Buffalo's so great like that they'll just be like, hey man, you
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
you're from
They'll
Buffalo.
support it.
Keep
Yeah.
sailing. Like it does, like,
Yeah.
they're so supportive. But at the same time, like to make
Yes.
real change. And like when you're from there, you really want to put it on the map. Like you want people to know how cool that place is. And
Yeah.
it has such a weird weird rep on like the national scene of like we're known for snow, Rick James, chicken wings,
Yeah.
flying through
Yeah.
tables, and we're like, no, it's a really great place. Long
Yeah.
story short, I
Actually.
do get what you mean by
Actually.
saying that, but those are kind of the main points. But
No,
and
seriously.
so you decided to kind of risk it all and go. You took another big leap of faith and you moved out to LA. So how did
Yeah.
that go for you? Did the doors open?
Oh man. I would have to say I also had visualized myself moving to LA with a best friend from high school that plays drums, Greg Webster, we agreed. We used to have this saying like 10 by 10 means like you're just going hard, like giving it all, like 10 by 10, like 10 on all fronts, like giving it everything. And we were like, 2010, we're going to move to LA. And he went ahead and he was waiting for me, but I'm still like, I don't know.
Yeah,
I
because I
don't
think
know.
that's when
And
we met you.
yeah, and then he went out there and I was kind of, because I felt like I was kind of buzzing a little bit more in Buffalo. I was like, well, I'm starting to work more. And anyway, long story short, my point is I had already put the seed out, I guess, in the energy that I was going to be moving in LA at some point. And after I came back from the Nick Jonas gig, like I said, some things opened up, but majority of things were like, this is not what you want to keep doing. Like, get out of here and go see what else. So anyway, so I got here and I will tell you, I didn't plan on staying. Definitely came to like stay for the summer and like scope it out and like see if I wanted, like I was going to like put my toe in and see if I wanted to stay. Cause I only had traveled and I didn't really know what it really was like to be in LA. So I
Living in
came
a
out
place
here.
is totally different.
Yeah, like traveling there is one thing. And then living there is a whole different thing. I got there and long story short, the living situation that I had totally changed up and forced me to like all the money that I had saved, thought it was gonna be enough, like was not enough for LA. So but the doors did open up in such a way there, like within the first week, a very close friend that I knew from Buffalo that had moved out to LA offered me a job doing like promotional work for this company, which paid just enough for me to be able to maintain. And then after I kind of had to make some living changes, all that money went into me having to get a new place because otherwise I had nothing. I pretty much had spent it all on Airbnbs because, I also have a pet and that was expensive and the way the money was just going. Yeah, I had to stay because I had a job.
Yeah.
I was like, well, this is gonna, keep me maintained. And then all the remaining money I had to put into some place. And so we put into a down payment onto a place that I shared with a few other roommates, one being from Buffalo, some other his classmates. And from there, it just like life just basically was like, no, you're staying here.
Yeah.
So, but it was also a shit show for the first
No.
for the first year was a hot mess. But the thing that told me that you should stay was I got a job within the first week before I knew I was even going to stay there. And then I kind of expended my funds where I had to stay there, but I had enough to maintain. And then from there, things started to open up. So yeah, I would say the doors open, but it wasn't as glorious as like
Right.
is like to make it sound like it was definitely a hot mess for the first year. I was like damn near homeless for like a day. Like all my money was spent. I was like, I'm just in my car on the phone with my mom. Like, Mom, like my last 400 went to therapy. Like, what am I gonna do? Like, my next paycheck doesn't come in until a couple of days. Like, it was just like a lot going.
And just for everybody on social media, she played with Nick Jonas already.
Yeah, and I had already
You know
played
what I
with
mean?
Nick Jonas,
Like,
and I took
this
that
is the
tax
reality of it
return.
when you are living life, man. You just, it does not
Yeah.
always look like you think, it just doesn't. And there's always that every single one of every human has to pull from that deep place to keep going. And, you jump and the net will appear. I would always hear that because we were on the same kind of thing. Like we knew we needed to,
Mhm.
if we really wanted to hit that level, and it wasn't even really about like a musical level. necessarily. It was part of
Right.
it, but I really just wanted to have a bigger life. Like I just wanted
Yes.
to know I wasn't a big wimp. Like,
Yeah.
no, I
Yes.
just went somewhere else and lived a creative life in a different place to see what that would feel like. As I
Mhm.
knew what it felt like where I was. And
Right.
I wanted that change, you know? And I love that you didn't tell me that till I called you having my breakdown after I moved. You
Yes.
were like, oh yeah, by the way,
Yeah.
this isn't going to go like you think, and it's going to be really crazy. And it was. It was like that first year I had the same thing. I had no money in my bank account. I haven't been that broke since I was actually homeless when I was a teenager.
Yeah.
I hadn't, that wasn't a good thought. I'm like, okay, I was here in the early 2000s and I'm here again in 2019 and I had to jump, but it was the same thing. You know, this is also something that we talk about in the class. Like you also are a model. I mean, that's not something everyone can do, but you really are. I mean, that was definitely something that, you know, was also an income stream for you throughout this whole journey you've been on, that you would do print, you would do some runway stuff, and you would, I mean, that was such a unique combination that not everybody has to have real talent, really be able to play an instrument like a badass, but at the same time, like take a great shot. Like that's a great
Oh,
combo of things that
thanks.
is not always dished out to everybody. So you did appreciate that. You use that too. Myself, I always did caricatures. That was how I made that quick money while I was able to like
Yep.
build something else that I wanted to do. You worked in that field where you got a job doing promotions. Like that's truly using your talent. So when we say
Mhm.
like use your gift for your business, like there's a lot of gifts you have in there that you're going to have to pull from that bag just to keep
Mhm.
going. But it's amazing what God will show in front of you. And then you just got to have that courage to take the steps. And like you
Yes.
really could have just gone, Mom, I just spent my last $400. Send me a ticket. I'm coming home. And you could have come home.
No, my pride would never.
I know.
It was too, we had come too far to turn back, you know, like we've done too much. We're not about to go back crying back with our tail between our legs. Like, no, we're not
But,
going to do that.
but man, you could have. You really could have. I know. I think that's also, you know, I know your family and my family's very similar. That does not happen where we're from. Like, you don't quit. You have a crazy blue collar work ethic. Like, that's just how we all are from that place. And a lot of people are like that, man. You know what I mean?
Yes.
A lot of people come from immigrants and we're first or second generation.
Right.
You know,
Exactly.
plant workers where that was the culture that we all grew up in, was like literally backbreaking work all the time and you'd be happy about it, you know? And like
Yes.
that's
Because you got work.
yeah. So I mean that was
Yeah.
definitely how we were all in Buffalo raised. And I say that we said this before we started recording. I'm like that place was the best thing that ever happened to me. Like
And you
just
didn't know when you're in there, just
I
like
was
most things.
ready.
Yeah. In the moment, it's like, ugh, but you get out. I appreciate Buffalo so much more after having lived here and lived around. I mean, this isn't the first place out of Buffalo I lived, but
Yeah.
Buffalo, shout out to our city because after traveling the world, we are still an awesome freaking city.
Yeah. No doubt. Very tough people. And you know, and that's when I came up with life in the DIY. I just found I'm like, that's the people I want to talk to, are people that were like you and like me when you're in that one little spot where you're like, I got to make some money, man. Like, cause it's not good to be broke in this
Mhm.
town. Like, this is not, it's not fun. I've been in that place. And like a lot of it was having that faith and those disciplines of visualization and connecting. And I know you do daily yoga, you do all that stuff. You're real into your health, like just keeping your mind right. That's a huge part of being an entrepreneur and being a
Yeah,
creative
it is.
entrepreneur is your own mental health, because it truly is, and in my opinion, but what's worked for me to keep going forward. And sometimes I go back and then I go up again, but
Yeah.
is really keeping that mentality tight and who you surround yourself, the kind of conversations you have. That's not easy either because you love people. You know what I mean? Like
Yes, no, it's not easy.
it's not. It's like, but I almost have to like have those conversations. Like I have to kind of like have a little process for myself of like, okay, it's not how I feel.
Yeah,
Like,
right, right.
that's but I mean, a lot of people that I've talked to, that I've worked with, like I said, the limiting beliefs is a really big one because they will have family members call them who are really concerned about them. They mean it. They're like, they're not trying to
Mhm.
discourage them or anything.
Right.
If you're going, how are you ever going to make a living?
Yeah.
You know, this, or you can't
Their
do.
limiting beliefs just projecting them so hard onto.
Yeah. And it's so easy to fall kind of victim to that because a little part of you is feeling that way. It's like,
Yeah,
oh
yeah.
man. But they usually do it out of love. They're not trying to, my grandfather didn't want me to get a car. He was really concerned because,
Really?
and I don't know, I mean, you lived in Buffalo. It's not fun not having a car in Buffalo.
No, you need a car. You need a
Like, I
car.
get a car.
Yeah,
He's
you
like,
need
oh,
a
a
car.
lot of things can happen. Grew up in the Depression. He was an orphan. He was just like,
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you
And it's
can say
understandable where they have their reasoning.
absolutely. So it's like having some processes, and that's something that I give in the downloadable class and everything is just like having some processes of like talking yourself kind of back into it because you're right. You are right.
Yep.
If that's what you feel in your heart, like,
Yep.
I'm going to be a professional bass player. Your voice is awesome. You sang with
Thank
me. I'm like, together we sounded like Barry White doing a duet because of the bass tone. But,
Oh man, that good resonance.
oh yeah, but beautiful voice. I mean, you're just ridiculously talented. But, I really wanted people to know, like, it's so much more than just that. Because really, I mean, I'm sure when I moved to Nashville, everybody's talented. That's a baseline.
Right.
You better
Yep.
be talented or just go
Yep.
home. Like, but
Yep.
everything else, that's where you rise above the noise level and you really can shine in this is when you have that faith and I think just the I don't know, I maybe the more you get beat up, you just get better at taking a punch and keep going. I don't know, but I think
Yeah, it
that's
doesn't
just
hurt
not
as
giving up.
bad. I mean, there's a thing called conditioning. You mean like in martial arts, they'll like, I don't know, do like forearm hits or like on their shins until you don't feel it anymore. The skin doesn't break and you just
Yeah.
like, like walking on stones. Like you just, build a tolerance or a
Until you're on
whatever.
stage with Lizzo.
Until I got saved with Lizzo.
Well, tell me about Lady now. So this is the thing too. Again, you're doing it again because you're with Lizzo, one of the
Yeah.
biggest acts in the world. You're traveling the world, and we're all rooting. And at the same time, you're going home and going, I just want to be a little more creative. I want to, but you know what I mean? Like,
I know it's
no,
it's
I'm the
never
same way. I'm
stops.
like, why can't I
The
just
human
have
plight.
a cartoon?
The human plight.
So, what is going on with Lady? So, where did that all spark, and how did that come into fruition in your life?
It's actually was through someone that I met in church actually. And originally it was a different drummer, um the Pocket Queen, Taylor Gordon. She had asked me if I was interested in being a part of an all women band that was produced by someone named Harmony Samuels. Again, I don't know what's going on until it shows up. So I'm
Yep.
like, who? Harmony who? And also a little jaded having been like promised awesome experiences that just go to nothing so often, and also a little over the being in the all girl thing, and just
Right.
ever since I came to LA, that was pretty much the only thing that I was getting asked to do, like in terms of like bigger paying stuff, was always that.
That
Hey, like
angle.
I had a lot of resistance to it or just not knowing what it was about, but just showed up like, I knew I liked her and blah blah blah. And then I read some of who he had worked for, and I was just like, oh, I'm like, oh, Fantasia, oh, Janet Jackson, oh, Chris Brown, oh,
Oh,
Ariana
Shannon.
Grande, oh, like, and he's not that much old. I mean, he's not much that older than me at all, and he doesn't even live from the States. He's from London, so I was just to say he did a lot within his time. So it's like okay, and anyway, he presented the idea of like kind of coming up with an all woman mint condition, was what he envisioned. He also felt like, the kind of how most of us like 30 and up have been feeling like we're just a little over the like jarring, harsh projection of women. Like, I mean, we all remember Lil Kim and we loved it, but it just, we've
It was
seen
so
it so
new
many
when Lil Kim
times,
did it, though. Yes.
respectfully.
Yeah.
That like I just feel like there's an open door for like camaraderie and sisterhood as opposed to seeing like one single woman, like seeing the camaraderie of women, also showing that women can get along, bringing it back to the 90s when like groups, yeah, people were like groups and people were like getting along and like doing stuff together. So, and just like also the musicality, also to say that we haven't ever seen a full band. I mean, there was Climax, but they were just two
I'm
instruments.
really
So
throwing out some references like I love it.
sorry.
I'm like, make
But I know
it
I'm showing my
climax.
age.
I'm like, yes.
Also, old song. Hey, I've always liked older music, but
Oh, I love it.
so it's just like there was a avenue for it, but also this has been developing since like 2018. So, but maybe 2019 we assembled all the members, like found them online in various ways. I mean, if everybody really took a chance on each other, like some people don't even live in LA, flew out just to
Mm.
come. So somebody saying, "Hey, do you want to be in a girl group?" And like, it just sounds like something from a movie. But sometimes those are the situations that really surprise you. And so but it has shown the like, we've been investing in the writing and, we have the producer, but we've been coming up with our own lyrics and coming up with our own instrumental parts. And it's been just like, been really, really cool. Trying to come into this role as being an artist after always, first of all, never wanting the spotlight, but also finding my way there somehow all the time.
Yeah. I think the spotlight calls you, like it's kind of the same thing, really. I mean, it's just part of the plan, and then you're just going to have to step up to that and find the courage to do that. And then you find your way to do that. And that's something I talk about a lot too. A lot of people are very shy on camera, or they don't know how to advertise about themselves. You know what I mean? It's like, and you just have to find the way that is comfortable for you, that you can come across. You know what I mean? Because not everybody, like, I'm a lead singer. Like, I've been a lead singer since I was 2 years old. Like, I just didn't have the band. Like, that was just my lifestyle. But that's not everybody. You know what I mean? So you have to find your way. Like you're saying, you didn't really necessarily see yourself as an artist, but the universe does.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
and
Step out of your comfort zone. God.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's like God tells you to do it and you start, and if it's, you're like, okay, I heard you.
Yeah. Like, I mean, really, I think, I forgot who ever told me this, and forgive me because it's something I live by, but I don't remember who told me. But it's like, there's always ideas in the ether, up to you if you want to take it. Someone else take it, it will come into fruition. And I think, sure, anyone listening here, that's happened to me, definitely, where I've been like, shit, I had that idea. Remember, Scott and I were in a hotel once playing a show somewhere like in Ithaca, and we wanted Alton's restaurant in Buffalo. Shout out to
Alton. Yeah.
If we could get a souvlaki, I'm like, there should be an app on your phone, because this was like right when phones like came out, and I was like, that we could just pay somebody to go to Alton's and then drop it off to the hotel. And that's
look at you now. Wow, that's
crazy.
crazy.
But that was a split second in my head. I bring it up daily.
Wow.
So I'm like, do you remember when I said that?
Your $1 trillion idea.
So someone was going to get that idea.
Yeah,
I touched on
that was a hot idea.
But I think that's another point to being in a creative circle. There's a great saying that if you're not challenged by your circle, you're in a cage. And I was like, ooh. Like, that almost bothered me when I read it. I was like,
no, but that's good. That's good.
It's really true. And again, family, friend, and people you've known your whole life. I'm not saying don't talk to these people, but there is, if they're not on that page, you're going to still love them. But there is a point to that of like surrounding yourself with other creative people. I noticed in in Nashville here, like you said, the producer you're working with, not that much older than you, and you're naming all these artists that he's produced and where he's been. And I'm like, that shit humbles me every day. I'm like, I know people that are in their 20s that own like $1 million corporation, and I'm like, I think I was still hungover like around that age, but that's insane. So Seriously. It does keep you believing that things are possible, and it's very inspiring. And I really, that's what was part of my prayer when I came to this city. I was like, I hope that I can have that energy around me. And it really inspired me to take the chances that I maybe wouldn't have taken in Buffalo, because no matter what, like, it's me. They're like, oh, it's you. We know you. We hope you do good, but it's you. So, but planting seeds, like you said, lady, you started that in 2018. Obviously, there was a little pandemic that threw everybody off a little, but life in the DIY, I've been working on this for a couple years, so it is something that you can plant a seed, you water the seed, you just let it come into fruition on its own time. And then when it's ready, it's there, and that's something I've had to learn. And it wasn't in my personality, especially when you were playing with us. That was not my vibe at all. I was like, we're going to make this happen today.
Yes, you were very get it done energy. And that's why you've accomplished so much.
Oh, thanks. I appreciate that. I'm waiting for that bank account to reflect that energy.
Keep on visualizing. It's going to happen.
It'll get
add a couple more zeros.
Well, Z, I really love that you were willing to do this. I just wanted people to know more about your story of, how, like I said, you look at your Instagram, they're like, damn, there's a lot of things that have gone on, and you're a beautiful person. So I'm just so glad that they got to see that a little bit more and follow Lady And I have all her social media right here, so you'll be able to follow her on all the socials and keep up with Zuri Appleby. And yay. Okay. Like video.